Mike's Daily Podcast.
My name is Mike Matthews. Welcome to Café Anyway. Why am I shouting? Somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Meritopia.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's episode 3339, 3339. Mike Matthews, I'm not fine. I got poison oak on my forehead again. Why? Why does this happen to me? I don't get it. So, this all happened about 2 years ago. Same dang thing. Poison oak on my face. Well, on my head. And
Mike's Daily Podcast.
on the bridge of my nose and up on in that area. The forehead area. Yikes.
Mike's
So just be careful.
Daily
If you're in California,
Podcast.
there's lots of poison oak about.
Yeah!
And this time I can't blame my cats. I don't think the cats brought it in this time. I think this time I might have picked up some on my shoes. And when I went to take my shoes off, I had it on my hands. I should have washed my hands. Instead, I probably touched my glasses. And in my glasses, I put my glasses on my head and ta-da! Now I've got poison oak oil on my face. Ah! I hate it when I do that.
And then all of a sudden, the man behind me leans forward and says, "Hang on to your seat." And he ruined the whole thing for me.
Ruined the whole thing for me. Thank you, Janine Turner. Hey, everybody. Janine Turner from Northern Exposure, one of my favorite shows of all time. You know, she used to wear jeans on that sometimes. She claims she hardly ever wore dresses on that show. It was something she talks about on the podcast for Northern Exposure called Northern Disclosure. They wanted her in jeans and not very often in dresses because she's supposed to be living in Alaska, you see. And supposedly Alaskans only wear jeans. This is what they thought in the early 90s. But Levi's, they're charging $300 for designer Luxe jeans. And Beyonce started this. San Francisco-based Levi's.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And their new blue tab jeans, which I don't have, which I'm not wearing, in this podcast picture with my lovely lady friend. And we're having a picture with Maybelle, the horse, who's got a fly mask on. And it's so sweet. And we like to go visit her every now and then. And her compadre, which would be Princess. That's right. And they're so fun to see. And see that picture of them, of her actually. I might have taken a picture of Princess at some point, but see that all at mikesdailypodcast.com. mikesdailypodcast.com. I am Mike. The show is daily, and it's a podcast. That's the name. The late great Basil the Boxer. I don't think he ever met Maybelle or Princess, but he did meet their predecessors, which were the wonderful horses Dice and Emma, who sadly passed away last year. So they're charging these blue tab jeans. Levi's is charging $300 a pair, and luxury denim sales jumped 40% last quarter. 40% in the time span between April and June. Premium denim could eventually become a $200 million. I forgot the million. $200 million plus business for the company. In retail, selling fewer high-end products can often be more profitable than selling a lot of low-priced ones, says Mr. Somewhat. He's sometimes an economist type guy, financial dude. His name is Rob Black. I produce a podcast. He's heard on AM 1220 KDOW weekdays in the 5 p.m. hour, and he's on Cron TV Monday through Thursday in the 9 a.m. hour. And he was also pointing out that what the other thing is people are spending money on is groceries. Grocery prices. They are the top source of financial stress for Americans. 63% of Americans said this. 67% say grocery prices are unfair. Unfair, with meat and poultry being especially unaffordable. We were talking about recently on the podcast how expensive it is to get chicken when you go order chicken at a restaurant, how expensive it is now. partly because of those GLP-1s that people are taking. Hey, welcome to Café Anyway, by the way. Thanks for stopping
Well,
by.
howdy, partner.
Howdy,
In the
partner.
rustic, spacious dining rooms, lounges, and porches, where entertainment is presented each evening.
Each evening, we have entertainment here at Café Anyway, and you're just in time for it. This in lieu of entertainment, but there you go. So, grocery prices are still more than 30% higher than they were before the pandemic back in 2019. Grocery prices are 30% higher than they were 7 years ago. The average American household now spends roughly $8,000 to $9,000 a year on groceries. That comes out to about $750 a month, depending on the family size. So why not spend under $14,000 for a car? How about $13,995? The Fiat Topolino electric vehicle.
Hi there.
Hi.
This is Winona Ryder.
Oh, look who's here.
And you're listening to Mike's Daily Podcast. He's talking to you from Café Anyway.
That's where I
in podCastro Valley.
Oh.
I sure could use a cup of coffee. Mike, can I get a cup of coffee?
Sure, because you're Winona Ryder and I do your bidding. That wasn't AI produced or anything, was it? Actually, it's funny because in order to create that voice, a friend of mine actually voiced the words that you just heard and then was able to transform his voice into the voice of Winona Ryder. That's 11 Labs has something you can do with that, which is good because a lot of AI just cannot do the right inflection. No matter what they do, no matter what experts they put on it, they can never get the AI completely right.
Coffee and contemplation. Flow.
See, that was Hopper, also from Stranger Things. But that's really him saying that, and it wasn't AI. I can tell. I don't know. Some of you could care less. You think AI is all that. As we go outside a Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in podCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Rootabega. But before we all lose our collective minds, let me just remind you that the way the AI system is set up, in that you have to go to Google to use their AI called Gemini. You have to go to Microsoft and Bing to use their AI called Copilot. You have to go to OpenAI and ChatGPT.
Anyway.
And all that. And I always forget the P. ChatGPT. Yes, outside a Café Anyway, somewhere in podCastro Valley, the last place on earth. You know, they use that information. They may say they don't, but they do. The information you're giving them in order to make your life more easy, they're using that. You are the product. Oh, but Mike, I pay them for their super high-end service and they won't... Nope. I doubt it. Now, Apple says they don't use any, and Siri's got the AI getting added to her and whatever is what I'm hearing. Café Anyway, not Cafe whatever. But back to this car.
I don't understand you people.
What?
I mean, all these picky little points you keep bringing up, they don't mean nothing.
All these fascinating picky little points. I'm Mike Matthews. Picking away. Picking the points, that is. The Fiat Topolino electric vehicle is $13,995, less than $14,000 in the USA. The Topolino resembles a small car and is capable of going 25 miles per hour. It is capable. It is a quadricycle that functions more like a golf cart. I'm Mike Matthews. Did I mention that? The Topolino, which translates to little mouse in Italian, represents a new chapter defined not just by size, but by purpose. Like for, retirement communities and big.
Now that's legit.
In big cities where people don't need highways. Speaking of retirement communities, so I watched The Burrows on Netflix. Speaking of Netflix shows, which I'm hearing they're trying to. They're spending money on all kinds of things to become bigger than YouTube. But good luck. They had this thing called The Burrows, and it had Alfred Molina in it, and it's got this really cool scene that harkens back to a scene that he did early on in his career in Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first one. He's in that very first scene where you're first introduced to Indiana Jones, or we were anyway in the early 80s. And there was Alfred Molina being his assistant, who turns on him and steals the idol, the face, the magic face thing, whatever they call it, with the big eyes and the teeth and I forget. Anyway, Café Anyway, there's a long, storied history about the prop that was used and how a lot of people claim that they have the prop and have spent millions and millions of dollars to get this thing.
Wow, that's wild.
Isn't that wild? It's wow. Watch he does a great job. I forget his name, but the guy that does Yesterworld on the YouTube, he does a great job breaking it all down. And I'm addicted to watching him talk about things like how Toy Story was made and how nobody believed in it at one point, and that they changed the plot and changed it. The character of the Tom Hanks Woody character gets changed, and they had to scrap a bunch of work that Tom Hanks did. All this fascinating stuff. Oh, and that there was no toy maker. Nobody wanted to actually make toys out of the Toy Story toys, even though it's in the name. There were people, why should we do that? It's not going to make any money. Dummies. Hey, but this idol thing. Anyway, they threw a Café Anyway into a scene in the Burrows. And now we're watching the most recent season of Dark Winds. And if you have not seen that, it's very interesting. George R.R. Martin and Robert Redford started this wonderful TV show about a police station.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
That's what on a reservation in Arizona. It's fascinating. New Mexico, maybe. I think it was all shot in New Mexico. The most recent season has the German actress from Run, Lola Run, and the first couple of Bourne Identity movies, and she plays a evil person, an evil hit woman. Oh, it's good stuff. Very interesting. And you hear the native language of the indigenous peoples of the Navajo Nation, or the Diné tribe, and the words that they use in their language is fascinating. And then you're hearing German in the next scene between the hit woman and her maybe Nazi grandfather. I don't know. They didn't really explain all that, but it's crazy. That show, Dark Winds. I think AMC, and American Movie Channel. Yeah, they put it together. Okay. I guess now we should probably get to the thing about soccer, even though some of you say it's football. I
can't believe, what the hell is this place anyway?
Café Anyway and Mike's Daily Podcast Show. Thank you for listening. The U.S. World Cup soccer got 50% more viewers than the NBA Finals. Yes. To put that in perspective, NBA, huge sport. The finals are absolutely giant. I see constantly people watching the games for that. World Cup, 50% more viewers this year. 30 million people watched U.S. versus Belgium, making it the most watched soccer match in U.S. history. I won't go into any more about that, but it's fascinating. The audience peaked at just shy of 37 million viewers. By comparison, the NBA Finals averaged more than 20 million viewers on ABC and ESPN. So NBA, 20 million. World Cup, add another 17 million folks. Let's talk about where these folks...
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Wait, no, there's more interesting stuff. Where do these folks live? Well, if they're trying to buy a new house, the sales dropped because prices reached an all-time high last month. And that is a great song from James Bond, a James Bond movie. I think it was Rita Coolidge who sang it. We're an all-time high. Did Bonnie Tyler never did a song for a James Bond movie that I recall. But she did do a song for Footloose. I'm holding out for a hero to... She worked a lot with Jim Steinman, who also worked with Meatloaf most notably. And he wrote that song, I Drove All... what was it? It's All Coming Back to Me Now, Celine Dion. And he wrote the song Total Eclipse of the Heart, Holding Out for a Hero. So Bonnie Tyler actually did 2 of his songs. And then he did a song for, what was it, Air Supply, Making Love Out of Nothing at All. And then, write this down.
Bison Bentleys. Do you know
that?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley. And Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself, do you know that?
And people forget she also had that, it's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. What a voice. So she passed away. She was in her 70s. Bonnie Tyler also did a song with Mike and the Mechanics. The first Mike and the Mechanics album had a song called A Call to Arms that Phil Collins actually co-wrote. And it was going to be a Genesis song. And Mike and the Mechanics featured one of the guys from Genesis, Mike Rutherford. And Phil's like, no, yeah, you go ahead. You record it with your Mike and the Mechanics band. So it had Paul Carrick singing on it, the late Paul Young singing on it. And then you heard Bonnie Tyler sing a couple lines in the background. But there she is. Another great singer from that first Mike and the Mechanics album was a guy named John Kirby. It took me years, it took me decades to find out that it was John Kirby that sang 2 of my favorite songs, You're the One and Par Avion. Oh, those are 2 beautiful ballads. He sang with a band called Wavelength and actually had a hit called Hurry Home, which was big in England, but it never got big here in America. So that's my magical music movie machine thing. Da, 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 da. It's Marlo and the magic music machine. Oh, hey, my lovely lady friend just landed in New York, and you can see a picture of her with me and the horse, Maybell, at mikesdailypodcast.com. She's coming in 12:30 flight, flying wings, and I said, hi, lady. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till I can remember the lyrics to this song, even though I've heard a lot. Oh, no, no, no. I can't remember it. But those aren't the lyrics. Bonnie Tyler. Okay. Where were we? We got so sidetracked. We were talking about the houses. Not little pink houses. But, John Mellencamp. But, okay. So home sales dropped. High mortgage rates coupled with the record high prices of homes is causing home buyers to pull back. So, food news for homeowners. How about good news for homeowners? That the median price of an existing home was $440,000, $600, an increase of 1.8 from the year before, and the highest on record.
Look, I got to go. A couple of cases of Tylenol fell off a truck, and now I got to figure out how to put autism in them.
Wow. That's what you would rather do than hear this fascinating story?
Good luck with
You people are clapping way too loud for that joke. Anyway, potential buyers, it's bad news for them because of the record high prices. So we're going to just see what happens. Progress on long-term housing affordability could be hampered if inventory growth continues to stall, says Rob Black. So, and finally, we talked about soccer. We talked about Netflix. We talked about other things that had to do with music and whatnot. Now let's talk about golf. More than 48 million Americans played golf last year. That was almost a 41% increase from 7 years ago. It was a pandemic resurgence. The sport added a net 17 million participants over that course, over that period, as they were on and off the course participants. Biggest growth areas is off course in indoor simulators. I see, like Top Golf, 5-iron golf, X golf.
It's teamwork. It's all about teamwork.
That's
and
right.
We have to pull together as a team, and if you don't, bad things will happen to your team.
But golf.
Sometimes I get the feeling our team never even gets off the bus.
Golf is not a team sport, though. I don't quite understand what David Letterman's saying. Oh, I was at a Costco last night. And I'm cutting through the TV section so I can get to the Costco chicken quicker. Quicker is excellent grammar. Quicker so that I can grab the chicken before they run out. And I noticed one of the boxes, I think it was for a Samsung TV. It was advertising best late night TV to watch, David Letterman and Conan O'Brien. Is Costco selling used TVs? David hasn't done a late night TV show in years. His YouTube channel's fun to watch because he plays those old shows from way back in his career. And then Conan's, he's in the podcast world. He's competing with me and my huge numbers. No, I don't have the huge numbers, which is understandable. The average golfer spends well over $3,000 a year. High-tech driving ranges are attracting younger players. Serious golfers can spend about $10,000 or more annually. There's clubs. There's getting those high-tech, super flying far high and whatnot golf balls. Note to self.
Note to self.
Also spending money on apparel, the fees on the green fees. Traveling to different locations to play golf, travel, as well as the lessons cost money and memberships. And maybe they want to drive one of those Topolino's cars. Topolinos, I mean. To drive around on the course. They sound like it's perfect for that. A set of premium clubs can cost $4,000. And if you want to do a home simulator, that can range to more than add a couple zeros. How about $20,000 for luxury home setups? Golf is now a technology business. It's an entertainment business, a travel business, and a retail business worth well over $100 billion annually in the U.S. Look who's here outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Rootabega. Oh my gosh, it's Madame Rootabega. And I found all of that really interesting that you are talking to me about. Oh! Yes, and my lovely lady friend just landed in New York City. She's seeing her mom in the Bronx. And Madame Rootabega, do you like the Bronx? Yes. Do you like golf? Yes. Do you like home simulators? No. Yeah. Get those out of my home.
I want to put a disclaimer for a blanket apology for any yelling I might have done. I had some issues to work out.
Rob Morrow, also from Northern Exposure, and he was on the show Numbers, and I just started watching that, and I was getting into it. My lovely lady friend and I. Him and David Krumholtz, is that his name? And Judd Hirsch is his dad. And Krumholtz is this like mathematician. And there's some interesting writing on that show. I like some of the things because I've never been good with numbers. So it's good for dummies like me. And then there's the action and the action. I was going to say adventure, but it's not like they're fighting dragons. They're fighting everyday terrorists and whatnot in that show. From 2007. Yeah, we're coming up on 20 years ago it started. And I was enjoying it. But then I was watching it on DVD from a DVD collection that I got from the library. And my DVD player broke as I was watching it. So I don't know if the DVD player didn't like the show. But look who else is here.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's right. Hello there, Mike. It's Valentino.
And this is Bison Bentley.
Mike, if we don't have free speech like you talking now with your speech day, there is no free speech day.
Yeah, no free speech if there's no free speech. Do you know that? Thanks for pointing that all out. That's fantastic. What do you think about all that? Here's the number to call.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast, we do right now go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame with a little bit of anarchy.
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means, but I love it.
But yes, we love it that you are listening. Thank you so much for listening. And you can email me and check out the website, and all that information about that is right here, right now. Take care now.
Do you have any safe spaces?
Safe spaces?
Yes, where people can go to get away from the colonialist mentality. As long as there's a diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, we'll be fine.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!